I spent 15 years signing everything without reading. I trusted. It was easier that way. Until the day my signature opened an account I never created, bought a house I never saw, and turned me into a guarantor for a debt that wasn't mine. It didn't steal my money. It stole my choice. And it did it while I slept next to it. Betrayal doesn't scream. It signs its name. And when you finally open your eyes, it's already too late to undo. But not too late to stop. I worked 60 hours a week. Sometimes more. Civil engineer in Portland, Oregon. Infrastructure projects that kept me away from home for weeks at a time. I thought I was building our future. I thought she understood. That she trusted me the same way I trusted her. We had a routine. I deposited my salary into the joint account every second half of the month. She took care of the bills, the shopping, the house. I didn't even check the statement. Why bother? We were a team. Or that's what I repeated to myself every time I came home. And she smiled, asked how my day was, and put dinner on the table. But there's a kind of tiredness that doesn't go away with sleep. It's the tiredness of not understanding why you work so hard and never have anything left over. Of looking at your bank balance and thinking something is wrong but not knowing what. Of feeling like you're running on a treadmill faster and faster, without getting anywhere. I started noticing little things, nothing big, nothing that warranted a conversation. New car in the garage that she said was necessary. Designer clothes appearing in the closet. Trips she took with her friends while I was away. All justifiable, all reasonable, all paid for with our money. But the word "our" began to carry a different weight. Because when I suggested saving money, she agreed. When I said we needed to save for emergencies, she smiled and said, "Of course, honey." And 2 weeks later, another bill arrived, another expense, another explanation that made sense at the time. Have you ever had that feeling of being treated like a child? That someone smiles at you, agrees with everything, and then does exactly what they want? I used to, but I pushed it down, because questioning meant fighting, and I hated fighting. So I kept quiet. I worked harder. I deposited more money, and I pretended everything was fine, until one day he was no longer there. It was a Saturday afternoon. I was at home, which was rare, trying to relax. She had gone out shopping. I turned on the TV, grabbed a beer, and the phone rang. Unknown number. I answered without thinking much. "Mr. Mitchell?" The voice was formal, polite, distant. "Try. This is First National. We're calling about your business account." I froze it. "Business account?" There was a pause. The kind of pause you feel in your stomach. "Sir, the account registered in your name. Opened in March of last year. There is a negative balance of $23,000. We need to discuss payment options." I didn't open any business accounts. Not in March. Not ever. "There must be a mistake," I said. My voice came out calmer than I expected. "I don't have any accounts with you." Another pause. "Sir, we have your signature on the documents, your social security number. Everything has been verified." My signature. I hung up. I sat on the sofa. I looked at the beer in my hand as if it could explain anything. My heart was beating slowly, but heavily, as if each beat hurt. She returned 2 hours later, bags in hand, a smile on her face. "Hi, honey. Did you eat?" I looked at her. I really looked. I tried to see something different, some sign, but she was the same, beautiful, kind, my wife. "We need to talk," I said. Her smile faltered, just for a second. "About what?" "Regarding the business account that I didn't open." She blinked. She put the bags down. That. That's it. As if it were a minor detail. As if it weren't my signature, my responsibility, my name on something I never authorized. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was realizing she didn't seem surprised or worried, just inconvenient. Look, I know you might be watching this and thinking, I would never let that happen to me. I used to think that way too. But the truth is, you don't realize it until you're in it. Until you realize that trust can be used against you. If this story is making you feel something, subscribe to the channel, because this isn't just entertainment. It's a warning. And I'm going to tell you every part of what happened, every mistake I made, every moment I could have stopped and didn't. And tell me something in the comments. Where are you watching from right now? I want to know who's on the other side, who's paying attention. Now let me continue. She sat on the edge of the kitchen table. She crossed her arms. The kind of posture that looks defensive but tries to appear casual. I was going to tell you, she said. When? When the time is right. I waited. I said nothing. Because I had already learned that silence compels truth. And she didn't like silence. I opened the account to help my sister, she continued. She was having financial problems. She needed a guarantor. I only put your name on it because you never cared about these things. You always told me to take care of it. Take care. Not that you would use my name to open accounts without telling me. 23,000, Emily. She sighed, as if I were being dramatic. I'll sort it out. She'll pay. It's just a bad phase. How long has it been? Just a bad phase. She didn't answer. She stood up. She started putting away the groceries. Quick, mechanical movements, as if putting away milk and bread could end the conversation. I sat there, watching, and I realized something I should have realized years ago. She wasn't nervous because she lied. She was angry because she got caught. How many other things have you signed for me? I asked. None. She spoke too quickly, too directly. Emily. I said none, but her voice trembled. Just a little. Enough. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay there staring at the ceiling, listening to her breathe beside me. And I thought about all the times I signed something without reading it. All the times she said, "It's just a form, love," and I signed it. Because it was easier. Because I trusted her. Trust isn't something you give. It's something you deliver. And when someone takes what you've given and uses it against you, what's left isn't anger. It's ash. A gray emptiness that settles in your chest and won't go away. The next day, I took the day off. I called work, made up an excuse, and went straight to the bank. I needed to know the bank manager was a man in his 50s, well-tailored suit, tired look. He received me in a small room with glass walls and offered me coffee. I refused. I need to see everything that has been opened in my name, I said. He looked at me. That look of someone who's seen this scene before. Everything? All. He typed on the computer. He clicked a few times. Then he turned the screen towards me. 3 checking accounts. 2 that I knew about. 1 that I didn't. 2 credit cards. 1 that I knew about. 1 that I didn't. A home loan, which I definitely did not authorize. It's an investment application in her sister's company's name, with my CPF, Brazilian tax identification number, as guarantor. I felt my stomach sink, not from anger, from weight, as if someone had placed a stone inside me and I had to carry it. How much? I asked. He hesitated. In total? Not at all. $107,000 in direct or indirect liabilities. $107,000. I earned well. I wasn't rich, but I earned well. But $107,000 wasn't money I had. It was debt. It was a commitment. It was my name on something I never chose to carry. All of this was authorized with my signature. He nodded. Digitally, in most cases. Using your registered email and SMS authentication. My email, my phone, my life, controlled by someone who slept next to me. I got out of the car and sat in the back seat. I gripped the steering wheel. I didn't start the engine. I just sat there, staring at the empty parking lot, trying to understand how I let this happen. Have you ever felt that kind of betrayal that doesn't scream, that doesn't break things, that just dissolves you? That's it. It's knowing that the person you trusted most has turned you into a tool, into a signature, into a number, I drove home, slowly. Each traffic light seemed longer, each street grayer. When I arrived, she was in the living room. Netflix was on. Bowl of popcorn was in her lap. "We need to talk," I said again. She paused the show. She looked at me. And this time I saw it. The fear. Quick, fleeting. But it was there. I placed the bank statements on the coffee table. She looked down. She didn't touch them. She just looked. "Explain," I said. She took a deep breath. She ran her hand through her hair, a gesture I recognized. She did that when she was putting together a story. "I didn't want you to worry," she began. "So you preferred to put me in debt?" "That's not how it was. Her sister needed—" "I don't care what your sister needed." My voice came out louder than I intended. I stopped. I breathed. I continued more quietly. "I care that you used my name. Without asking. Without telling me. $107,000, Emily." She closed her eyes. "I was going to sort it out." "As?" Silence. "How are you going to solve it?" "I don't know." She stood up. She started pacing back and forth. "I don't know, okay? I thought there would be time, that she would pay it back, that you would never need to know." Something I would never need to know. That phrase hung in the air. Heavy. True. She wasn't worried about solving it. She was worried about hiding it. "You turned me into a guarantor for debts that aren't mine," I said. "You opened accounts. You used my credit. You put me at risk. And you think the problem is that I know it? I did this for my family. I am your family." She stopped. She looked at me. And for a second, I saw something that shattered me. Not regret, not guilt, justification. She truly believed she had done the right thing. "You're never here," she said, quietly, but firmly. "You work all the time. I take care of everything myself. The house, the bills, everything. So yes, I made decisions. Because someone had to." I felt something break inside me. It wasn't loud. It was silent. Like a crack in glass that you only see when the light hits it right. "Are you blaming me for working?" "I'm saying that you left me alone. And when you leave someone alone, they do what they need to do." "What do they need to do?" As if stealing my financial identity were a necessity. I picked up the papers. I folded them. I put them in my pocket. "I'll be sleeping in the guest room tonight." "You're exaggerating." I looked at her. I really looked. "No, I'm waking up." The next few days were strange. We lived in the same house, but we didn't talk. She went to her job. She was a clothing store manager, and I went to mine. We'd cross paths in the kitchen. We'd exchange hi and bye. Nothing more. But each day, I discovered more. An old email I'd never seen before. A purchase confirmation. A receipt. Piece by piece, I put the puzzle together. And the image that emerged wasn't pretty. The business account? It wasn't just for her sister. It was for a business that never took off. An online jewelry store that lasted 3 months. $23,000 in inventory that never sold. The home loan used to renovate her mother's house in Idaho, a house I've visited twice in my life. Credit cards, clothes, restaurants, trips she took with her friends while I was in the field, supervising construction projects. Nothing criminal, nothing illegal. Just choices. Choices made. With my name. With my future. Without my voice. I scheduled an appointment with a lawyer, just to understand my rights. He was straightforward. "Technically, if she had access to your data and you never revoked it, the responsibility still lies with you. You can sue for fraud, but it will be difficult to prove if she claims you had a verbal agreement." "We didn't have any agreement," he shrugged. "But you signed it. Digitally or not, your name is there." My name was there, and that was all that mattered. That night, I sat with her again. This time, without anger. Just tiredness. "I need you to take responsibility," I said. "I already said I'll pay. It's not about paying. It's about admitting that you were wrong, that you overstepped my bounds, that you used me." She looked down. She fiddled with her nails. I didn't use you. So what did you do? Silence. Emily, what did you do? I did what I thought was best. And there it was, the real answer. She truly believed it. That what she thought was enough. That I was just a tool in the equation. I got up. I grabbed my car keys. I'm going to stay in a hotel. How long? Until I decide what to do. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. She just nodded, as if she had been expecting it. And perhaps that's what he was expecting. I stayed 2 weeks at a Holiday Inn near work. Small room, hard bed. Silence that hurt. But it was my silence. My choice. Every morning I would wake up, have coffee in the lobby and go to work. At night, I would come back, order food, and watch TV without paying attention. Not because I was depressed, but because I was processing. There's a difference between sadness and clarity. Sadness pulls you down. Clarity shows you the ground. And for the first time in years, I was seeing the ground. She sent messages, lots of them. At first, justifications, then apologies, then anger. You're being immature. I said I'll sort it out. Would you rather throw away 15 years for the sake of money? Money, as if it were only about money. I didn't answer, because I had nothing to say. Everything I could say had already been said, or ignored. It was on a Saturday that everything changed. I was in my room, reading work emails, when my phone rang. Unknown number again. Wait. Mr. Mitchell, this is Liberty Auto Finance. My stomach sank. Again. We are calling regarding the financing of the Audi Q5 registered in your name. 3 installments are overdue. We need to settle. This or the vehicle will be repossessed. I don't own an Audi. Break. Sir, the vehicle was financed in April. Your name, your CPF, Brazilian tax identification number, digital signature confirmed. April, 2 months ago. How much? I asked. My voice came out hollow. $54,000 in financing, $3,200 in arrears. I hung up. Not because I wanted to. Because my hand couldn't hold the phone. $54,000. For a car I've never even seen. I knew who it belonged to. I knew without even asking. I called her. Hi, love, you. It's Audi. Silence. Emily. Oh, Audi. I can explain. Then explain it. Heavy breathing on the other end. My car broke down. I needed a new one. You're never here to go with me to choose one, so You financed $54,000 in my name without telling me. I was going to tell you, I hung up. I sat on the edge of the bed. I looked in the mirror on the wall. I looked older, tired, but not surprised. And that's when I realized I wasn't angry anymore. I was determined. On Monday morning, I went straight to the office of a different lawyer, a specialist in family law. She was a woman in her 40s, thin glasses, sharp gaze. I want a divorce, I said. She nodded. She didn't try to convince me otherwise. She didn't ask if I was sure. She just pulled out a folder and started taking notes. Shared assets. House. 2 cars. 1 I knew, 1 I didn't know. Debts? I took a deep breath. 161,000. As far as I know so far. She stopped writing. She looked at me. Everything in a shared name? No. Everything is in my name. Without my knowledge. She started writing again. That complicates things, and it helps, depending on how you want to play. Like this? You can claim financial fraud, but it will be a battle. Or you can negotiate a clean separation, where she assumes part of the debt as a condition. What if she doesn't accept? Then, you sue. You lay everything out, and you hope the judge rules in your favor, I thought. About everything. About those 15 years. About the mornings we spent having coffee together. About the nights we watched series. About the trips we took. About the plans we made. Plans that she dismantled all by herself. I want the separation as quickly as possible, I said. and I want her to assume at least half of the debts she created. She nodded. I'll prepare the paperwork. When I left the office, the sun was strong, clear sky. Portland was beautiful that day. But I felt nothing, no relief, no pain, just a decision. I arrived home that afternoon. For the first time in 2 weeks. Emily was in the kitchen, preparing dinner, as if nothing had happened. "You're back," she said, half a smile, hopeful. "Just to get my things." The smile faded. I went upstairs to my room. I grabbed clothes, documents, photos that mattered. I left the rest. When I went downstairs, she was standing in the living room, arms crossed. "Are you really going to do that?" "What to do? Throw it all away?" I stopped. I looked at her. And for the first time, I said what was on my mind without a filter. "I'm not throwing anything away, Emily. You already threw it away. A long time ago. I'm just acknowledging it. I made mistakes, but they weren't mistakes. They were choices. Choices you made knowing I would pay for them." She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. "I love you." And that was the saddest part. Because maybe she really did love him. In her own way. In her broken, selfish, controlling way. But love without respect is not love. It's possession. "You'll receive the divorce papers next week," I said, and I left. The following months were practical. Lawyers, paperwork, division of assets, negotiations that seemed endless. She fought back. Obviously. She said I was being cruel, that she deserved half of everything, that I was abandoning her in her time of need. My lawyer was surgical. He presented every document, every bill, every fraudulent debt, and demanded that she take responsibility. In the end, the judge decided she would keep the Audi and the financing. I would keep the house and half of the other debts. It wasn't fair. It wasn't perfect. But it was the best I could get without years of legal battles. We signed in December, in a cold office. She was on the other side of the desk. Red eyes, but no tears. "You'll regret this," she said. I didn't answer, because there was nothing to say. When I left that building, I felt something strange. It wasn't happiness, it wasn't victory, it was lightness, as if someone had lifted a backpack of cement off my shoulders. I drove to the river. I parked. I walked to the edge. I stood there watching the water go by, and for the first time in months, I took a deep breath, and the air went in easily. I sold the house 3 months later, not because I needed to, but because I no longer wanted to live in a place full of memories that weren't real. I bought a small apartment, 1 bedroom, open-plan kitchen, balcony with a city view. Simple. Mine. I started over. Slowly. I rebuilt my credit. I paid off the remaining debts. I created new passwords, new accounts. I closed everything she had access to. And for the first time since I got married, it was just me. No extensions, no unspoken commitments, no signing anything I didn't read. It took me almost a year to feel truly free. Not free from her, that came quickly, but free from the guilt. Because there's one thing nobody tells you about being financially betrayed. You feel like an idiot. You wonder how you didn't see it, how you trusted so much, how you were so naive. I spent months blaming myself, going over every moment, every paper I signed without reading. Every time she said, "Leave it to me," and I did. Until one day, in a therapy session, yes, I started therapy, my therapist said something that changed everything. You weren't stupid for trusting her. You were human. She was cruel for manipulating you. Cruel. That word has stayed with me. Because that's what it was. It wasn't carelessness. It wasn't a mistake. It was conscious cruelty. Planned. Repeated. And realizing that didn't make me angry. It brought me peace. I stopped checking her social media. I stopped wondering if she was okay. If she had learned her lesson. If she had changed. Because it didn't matter anymore. I went on a few dates. Nothing serious. I wasn't ready, but it was good. A reminder that connection doesn't have to hurt, that trust can exist without control. There's a woman now, Sarah, data analyst. We met at a cafe. She asked to share a table because the place was full. We talked, laughed, exchanged numbers. 3 months later, we're together, slowly, without rushing. She knows my story. I told her everything, and she didn't judge. She didn't try to fix me. She just listened and said, "Thank you for trusting me with this." Trust. That word is still difficult for me, but I'm trying again. And this time, with eyes open. I met Emily once by chance. Supermarket, frozen food section. She was thin, shorter hair, dark circles under her eyes, but still beautiful. We looked at each other. She smiled, a little awkwardly. "Hey." "Hey." Silence. "How are you?" she asked. "Well, and you?" "Surviving." I nodded. I grabbed what I needed from the shelf. I turned to leave. "I'm sorry," she said, quietly. But I heard her. I stopped. I didn't turn around. I just stopped. For what exactly? I heard her take a deep breath. For everything. For not respecting you, for using you, for not being who you deserved. I turned around. I looked at her, and I saw something I'd never seen before. Real regret. "Thank you for saying that," I replied. And I left. Not because it didn't matter, but because it mattered in the right way. She apologized. I accepted. But that didn't change anything. It didn't erase it. It didn't fix it. It just closed. And sometimes, closure is all you need. Today, 2 years later, I look back and see clarity. I see the signs I ignored. I see my part, my passivity, my choice not to question. But I also see hers. The conscious manipulation, the deliberate disrespect, the silent betrayal that lasted for years. And I learned something. Betrayal doesn't need to be dramatic to destroy. It doesn't need shouting, fighting, or third parties involved. Sometimes betrayal is just someone signing your name while you sleep. And waking up late doesn't mean you missed it. It means you finally saw it. If you're listening to me now and recognize something from your own life in this, I want you to know one thing. It's not too late. It's not too late to check your accounts, to request statements, to read what you sign, to ask questions, to demand transparency. And if you discover that someone is using you, financially, emotionally, in any way, it's not too late to stop. You don't need to shout. You don't need revenge. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You just need to stop, step back, protect what's yours, and rebuild. Will it hurt? Yes. Will it be quick? No. Will it be worth it? Absolutely. Because in the end, the only signature that truly matters is the one you consciously give. The one you choose to give. The one you read beforehand. And if someone doesn't respect that, that person doesn't deserve access to you. I rebuilt my life, my credit, my confidence, not because I'm special, but because I chose to. Day after day. I chose to stop carrying the weight of choices that weren't mine. And you can too. Look, I know that was tough. I know you might be feeling something right now. Anger, sadness, recognition, fear. Whatever it is, it's okay to feel it. But it doesn't stop there. Don't just let it leave a mark on you. Let it move you. If this story affected you, if you felt something real, I need you to do 3 things right now. First, hit the like button. It's not about the algorithm. It's about telling me you were here, that you listened, that it mattered. Second, subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to keep telling stories like this, real stories, raw, unfiltered, and you deserve to hear every single one of them. Third, the video that's on your screen right now, click on it, because it continues exactly where this one left off. Another story, another awakening, another person who woke up late, but woke up. And if you don't click, you'll be left with that feeling that something's missing, because something will be missing, the continuity, the next piece. So click. Let me tell you more, because you deserve to know that you're not alone, that waking up late is still waking up, and that starting over is always possible. See you in the next video.